Since the birth of Islam, mass murder, slavery, ruthless killing and genocide remained as the proper Islamic way to propagate this hateful ideology which cost billions of lives throughout history as this ruthless invasion went through Middle East, Indian subcontinent and Africa for generations. Although this bloody invasion that continued in Europe for centuries before it could be stopped when the Holy League hailed a decisive victory over the Crescent following the defeat of Ottoman Turks during the Battle of Lepanto in 1571, the Ottoman Caliphate was only dissolved several decades ago in 1924. Despite its ugly, devious and intolerant nature, many efforts have been made ever since to portray Islam as peaceful and tolerant. The truth, however, stands on its own, as once again we are faced with yet another example of intolerance and segregation within our society as Islam made its way into Europe and the West through multiculturalism. In Germany, for example, it started back in 1960 when these Turkish invaders came under the guise of guest workers. But not only these guest workers came themselves, so came along no-go zone, shariah court, polygamy, child marriage, honor violence, rape and murder, which is preached at the heart of Islamic culture. Just to give you an example, there are nearly 50,000 women in Germany who suffered genital mutilation, and the numbers are on the rise at an alarming rate. With all these barbaric practices, along with the sheer horrific number of cases, many of us believe these days why this cultural invasion has been allowed in the first place. There are currently 3 million Turkish Muslims living in Germany alone, of which 7% of them support violent jihad. In other words, more than 200,000 Muslims in Germany think it is okay to violently subjugate Christians and other faiths as a means to propagate Islam. Almost half of them believe that shariah is more important than the democratic law of the land. And as a result, now there is a population which is seemingly part of Germany, which most people believe literally invaded part of the land, segregated within, unassimilated, and rather hostile towards all other cultures. In fact, the Turkish Prime Minister made it very clear as he urged his people to learn Turkish instead of German, while telling them not to assimilate into German society. And this cultural segregation is evident through many examples such as totally alienated suburbs where you will see Turkish flags in houses, shops, cars, everywhere, and people speaking Turkish instead of German. They are also lagging behind in education as well as jobs, as many of them live off the welfare benefits, which is costing the taxpayers billions of dollars and at the same time destroying the lives of millions of men, women and children, as many Turkish people are making a huge fortune selling them drugs. However, this Turkish burden gets heavier when Erdogan tells his people to drive the best cars, live in the best houses, and make not 3 but 5 children. Because in the views of Erdogan, these kids are the future of the European continent. On the surface, it may sound like yet another throwaway line, but the Turkish foreign minister makes it clear as he made remarks recently that the holy war will start soon in Europe. Back in 1997, Erdogan said, "The mosques are our barracks, the domes are our helmets, minarets are our bayonets, and faithful are our soldiers." In fact, with hundreds of thousands of Muslims willing to conduct violent jihad, large pile of weapons being found in mosques in Germany and many other countries in Europe, there is indeed a huge possibility of this so-called holy war, which once started in the hands of Muhammad through barbaric killings and genocide and continued throughout history for last 1400 years by his devout followers. So the question is, should this Turkish dream come true, how many million more lives will be sacrificed this time?